Hello, this is Willie from the Ozarks. We're ready for lesson 54 in A Course in Miracles workbook, and it is February the 23rd. We're in our review lessons. Yesterday's review was 53, today's 54. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. Yesterday was my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images which I have made. Before we get into lesson 54, I want to point out yesterday's lesson, the last thought we were to think of, my thoughts are images which I have made. It says in there that the fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I'm seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts. And I'm not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. Well, you say, well, everybody sees those things. Well, in this world, I guess everybody could be considered insane according to A Course in Miracles' definition of insanity. We're not seeing love and kindness and truth and what's eternal. So we're going to take up that same idea on our first lesson today. The first, 5 lessons, but the review, I have no neutral thoughts, is going to pick up on this same idea. Let's wait just a minute to read it, though. I want to show you this plant. I got a hardy kiwi today that is supposed to be able to withstand the frost. We'll see how well it does. Kind of excited about having a hardy kiwi. Looks like it's a vine. I really don't know much about hardy kiwis, so we'll find out. All right, lesson 54. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. Okay, those are our 5 reviews, and that's lesson 16 through 20 is what we're reviewing. You don't have to go back and look at the other ones if you don't, no need for it. We're trying to look at how these ideas, which we've already studied in detail, but now we're going to see how they kind of interrelate to each other and how we can use them in a broader sense. Maybe you might think of it that way. I have no neutral thoughts. Okay, now these are the review ideas for today. The first one, I have no neutral thoughts. And the write-up on it says, neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise from before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts cannot be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see shows me which they are. Okay, so like we had looked at yesterday, if we're seeing a world where there is suffering and loss and death, we're seeing the representation of our insane thoughts. And if we're allowing our real thoughts, and we're not allowing our real thoughts to cast their beneficent light, well, today, neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts cannot be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see shows me which they are. Are you seeing goodness and kindness on a consistent basis? Or are you seeing pain and suffering and trials and tribulations, and you're seeing heaven or hell, basically? Next review, 17. I see no neutral things. What I see witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Let me look on the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. There we go again. Let me look on the world I see as a representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change, and so I also know the world I see can change as well. It's what's going on inside that's going to make what we see outside. Next one, the third one, lesson 18. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. If I have no private thoughts, I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everybody. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine. Wow, there's some exciting evangelism. Just see the good in them and it'll dawn on them that they're good as well as you. Okay, 19, the fourth review. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am alone in nothing. Everything I think or say or do touches all the universe. A son of God cannot think or speak or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of God. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And the last one, I am determined to see. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace weeping, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one. Okay, I am determined to see my will and the will of God are one. That's the shared reality. Separated reality is you're separated from God and everybody else, and that's not reality at all, but it's what it appears to be. That has no basis in truth, and you'll wake up from that dream someday. In the meantime, let's hasten to that moment, because that's the only thing that's valuable in this world. One place he told us here, remember just a few days ago, it may be the only natural thing. It's the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it's the only natural thing in this world to find our way to God. I wanted to show you one more thing before we close today. This is an old Foundation for Inner Peace card they make. It's maybe 3x5 index card size. There's the back. It's basically page 85 and 86 out of the workbook, which is the lesson we're doing. We're not on those same pages because we're using a different format. We're using the original edition. But I just wanted to show you that this is a nice idea for these review lessons. Because in this particular set of lessons, it's really valuable to take a few minutes and be able to read the lesson again. We're supposed to be doing it for 14 minutes a day, 2 minutes each time, once overall, and then again in the evening overall. And then throughout the day, we're supposed to take each lesson, each of those reviews, and look at it individually for 2 minutes. Well, I find the best way to do that is just to read it again. And this makes it real handy, having something in my cart that instead of just the titles, I have no neutral thoughts, to actually have a little write-up and take a minute and read it and then close your eyes and spend 2 minutes. Very, very useful. Well, in our day and age, rather than having the card, take your phone, take a picture of the page, and you've got it for the day. Pull your phone out and use your phone. Or take the time to write it out if you want to really get it settled in. Whatever it takes to be able to do the workbook throughout the day without carrying the workbook around. Most of you probably carrying a phone around. I'm not sure that's all that good and healthy for us, but it's what we seem to be doing in this world, huh? Anyway, I'm just trying to encourage you that these are fairly tricky lessons to do because we really need to keep referring back to the book. And you may not have the book with you all day, so I'm trying to give you some ideas on how you could really make this come alive. So do your morning one with your book, read the lesson, and then sit for 2 minutes. Do that again at night. And then through the day, access it online, either through I told you could find the lessons, workbook lessons on the Foundation for Inner Peace's website. You can go there and read this lesson. And by the way, this particular format, this edition, the Course in Miracles original edition, on the workbook, it's almost identical. I haven't found hardly any areas where it changes the wording on the workbook between this edition and that, the Foundation. So use the Foundation is what I'm trying to say. They've been nice enough to put it online for us, and we can take advantage of that and use it. Whatever it takes so that you can read that lesson and then spend a couple minutes in your practice period with it throughout the day. Okay? So, be looking for all God's goodness, and until tomorrow, peace be with you.